Hi, I'm Dr. George Yancey. Let's share some paradigms. Paradigm share today concerns identity politics, meaning, and purpose. It's part of my ongoing discussion on identity politics, where I look at identity politics and how it impacts our lives and how we try to make sense out of things. Meaning and purpose. What psychologists will tell you is that meaning and purpose are vital parts of our lives. We need to have meaning. We have to feel like there's meaning to what we're doing. We have this need of purpose. What's our purpose? Where are we going forth? This is a vital part of being psychologically healthy. Consequently, we are constantly searching for meaning and purpose. One of the common ways we search for meaning and purpose concerns religion. Religion has become a common way in which individuals find meaning and purpose. Makes sense. If you believe in something that's greater than yourself, that gives you meaning. If you have a purpose towards that goal of this thing that's greater than yourself. So meaning and purpose we often find within religion. Can we find it within politics? Does not politics give us some sort of sense of meaning and purpose? The meaning of achieving this goal, this political goal, that's part of our purpose? I believe it can. And I believe that identity politics can have a unique way, an especially powerful way of addressing meaning and purpose. So, let's look at this. What I want to talk about is identity politics, and in my book, I use anti-racism as a progressive form of identity politics. So, given that, I ask the question then, can anti-racism provide a sense of meaning and purpose? Okay? Anti-racism, identity politics, as I've defined in other videos, is politics that revolves around trying to meet the interests of a group defined as oppressed. That's anti-racism. Anti-racism envisions racial minorities as oppressed, and it's a politics that revolves around trying to meet their needs. All right? So, can this help us to find meaning and purpose? Before I go into that, if you enjoy this sort of question and things like this, please consider subscribing to my channel, liking this video, entering into discussions, giving a comment. These things help to build a channel like this. Okay, to deal with this, I went to the Baylor Religious Survey. The Baylor Religious Survey has 5 questions that deal with meaning and purpose. We also created a scale for anti-racism. Now, I'm not going to go into that scale. I've written about this and how I constructed this scale. And if someone really wants to know how it's done, just leave a comment and then I'll give more details on it. But it's a scale that has been tested, been peer reviewed to assess the degree to which people adopt the ideas of anti-racism. All right. So I use a scale and I ask the question, are people higher up in this scale, are they more likely to find meaning and purpose than others? And to make it make sense, I divide the group into progressives and conservatives. All right? So here's my findings on all of this. What I find is, I have 5 questions. First one, I determine dignity. And these are correlations. And what you find is that among progressives, there's a significant correlation between those who score high in the anti-racism scale and say they determine their dignity and that they know their purpose is significant. And there's a negative relationship, but significant, on those who believe it's useless to find purpose. The last 2 items, my purpose part of a larger plan, there's an ultimate meaning, it is not significant. With conservatives, none of those relationships are significant. So among progressives, having loyalty towards anti-racism, if you do that, then you have higher sense of purpose and meaning to some degree. Not in all factors, but on some. On most, it appears. You know, you have to be careful about making a causal argument. I can't say that the adherence to anti-racism cause a person to have more meaning and purpose. Perhaps a person with a stronger sense of meaning and purpose finds anti-racism. But there does seem to be a relationship among progressives between identity politics as shaped by anti-racism and finding meaning and purpose. The data shows this. What this suggests is that identity politics can be part of why people have meaning and purpose. Now, here's why this is significant. There's a critique of religion that people will believe no matter what. And to the degree that is true, I think there are some people who are Christians who will believe no matter what. There's some of us, myself included, who've challenged our own faith and came out feeling, okay, this is where I believe. And maybe one day I'll do a video on that. I think that's an interesting story. So that is true. Well, why is that? Well, one of the reasons why is that if in your religion you find meaning and purpose, for that religion then to be proven to be false is an attack on your purpose in life and where you find meaning. It's an attack on your psychological well-being. An attack you'll defend with all the ferocity that you can muster. Makes sense. But if people are using identity politics to find meaning and purpose, likewise, will they not defend themselves, no matter what, when that identity politics is being challenged? There's every reason to believe that that's the case. So one of the reasons why, when you engage with someone who is deeply entrenched in identity politics, particularly if it's how they gain meaning and purpose, that logical, rational arguments are not enough. Logical, rational arguments will not persuade them to see some of the problems identity politics has caused. I've outlined these problems in other videos, how it leads to dehumanizing others, to seeing others as heretics, to suspending our intellectual and moral standards. These problems are likely to persist because identity politics is not just about doing politics. It's not just about rationally thinking about what's right or what's wrong. It's also about how some people find meaning and purpose. So as we deal with that, I'm a critic of identity politics. We have to be aware of what people say on the surface on values and justice. While they may believe that to a certain degree, they also got to hold fast to where their meaning and purpose comes from. Well, I hope you enjoyed this. If you did, please come back. We can shatter some more paradigms.